Okay, it's 9 o'clock, so we'll go ahead and start the meeting with invocation by Henry, followed by the flag salute.
Father in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Well, Lord Jesus, we invite you to join us today in our proceedings. Bring your wisdom and your righteousness and your holiness. Guide our elected officials in the decisions they need to make today. And Lord Jesus, in your name, I command Satan out from among us. Go away, you're not welcome here. Lastly, Jesus, we humbly thank you for the blessings that you bestow on us each day. It's in your name, Jesus, that I offer this prayer. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Administrative business?
Okay. The minutes of September 9.
Okay, you had a chance to review those minutes.
I'll make a motion to accept them as written.
Second. Moved and second to approve the September 9 minutes as written. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we have supplements for the 2019 tax roll. Those do not need signature, they're just for your review.
Okay. Thought we had a misprint. Harrington Municipal Hospital in Marion County.
How is that situation?
They put out a clinic in Hillsborough, Main Street.
don't. The second page is kind of like an overview. That's quick.
Yeah, it just doesn't give you the.
No.
Somebody else did that. Land on table.
Golf carts.
Yeah, a bunch of them.
Yeah.
Those golf carts that get put on the tax roll because they're taggable or they have to be registered either way.
They're put on as personal property.
Personal property.
Do I get to see those?
You've been taxed for years.
Yeah, yeah. That made everybody mad when they
Country club turned into
raided the
names.
golf carts, clubs, and
Oh, yeah.
and asked for names.
You
and
guys
stuff.
asked for membership lists, then.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, names and numbers.
Yeah, and everybody started getting taxed for them. There was a whole lot of people upset that year. That's been 15 to 20 years ago.
Well, it's
so-
been a long time.
Yeah. I still remember, we got taxed on a golf cart.
Of course, now you see them running up and down the street, so that's what I was
Yeah.
wondering.
Yeah.
It's kind of like utility trailers, everything's taxed, supposed to be, I think. Everything but the lawnmower, haven't done that yet.
That's next.
Don't speak too loud.
Some of them big enough-
Lawnmowers running up and down the street too.
I know, it's a high dollar value now.
Yeah.
UTVs taxed as personal property if they're farm use.
That is an appraiser question.
Yeah.
I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of them running around that are, you know, farm, they use on the farms.
It should be,
I guess, I'm guessing they're not running that.
equipment.
I bet you the same thing. I bet they're not.
I bet they're not either.
Boy, there's a lot of them now, because everybody got one, has one.
Yeah.
Got one instead of a horse.
Randy, your plug doesn't look like it's all the way in. There
Oh,
you
there it
go.
goes.
Probably charged better that one.
It might.
Your plug don't go all the way in, Randy.
It's not there, buddy.
Whatever that means.
Hey, in your packet, you had the clerk's report and budget reports.
Okay. Anyone have any questions on those after review?
I do. I have a couple of questions. I was just curious, what is it says donation, $2,000 to the K-9 from Marion County. I'm just confused as to what that is,
Okay.
but yet it's a warrant.
There's an early check today for that, and that is for the city's K-9 dog, I guess. But that's being paid out of diversion. The county attorney put that in.
Okay, I didn't know the city had their own
The
dog.
city of Marion's raising money to buy the road dog.
Okay. And then I also have a question on, I'm trying to track a little bit on the wind farm up north, what they're paying, the reimbursements and things from Kirk and Michael, and I can't kind of put it together just based on this, so I would, after the meeting and stuff, I'll see if I can get some copies of some of those documents to help. me
Sure, or if
understand
you'd
that
like
a
me to
little
put, if you'd like me to put together like a summary too, that
Either
I can bring
that.
back to the meeting, that would
That would be just fine as well. And then I do have one or two other questions. I seen on here that, so in economic development, and I'm on page 4.
Page 4 of the,
of
which
the,
report?
Well, see, mine, I don't know, but the print is so bad, you can hardly read it, but it's expenditures, I think, but it can't be expended, it's encumbrances and appropriations. But you have economic development list, and then you have the $165,000 that was appropriated for 2019, which of course we didn't spend, because they went bump. But I was wondering, where is the 150 that we had reimbursed back, because we got that in 2019 as well.
Yeah, and that didn't go into an economic development line item because that's in the general fund.
Okay,
I can show that to you.
Okay,
I'll
so-
make a note to get that.
Okay. And that's all.
Okay. I'll have that ready and provide it for you at the next meeting, if that's
I
okay.
think what
That's fine.
Diana's talking about is the print deal. Is that, did you see how it comes to this?
Yeah, I
Okay.
see that it's really
Okay.
pale. I think that we must have been
That's
low
what
on
you were talking about,
toner.
weren't you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And
We
at
must have
first-
been low on toner when we ran it.
Yeah.
Okay, at first I thought it was my printer, but.
No.
No,
Okay.
it's not.
I had a
That's the way it is on the screen too. It's real dim.
I had a question on Road and Bridge under the professional contractual services, but I can wait and ask Bryce about that.
Okay.
We're over budget on that. I didn't know what was all in that.
And we have gone ahead and, you know, when we did the budget process, we changed the middle column on some of these, and I went ahead and had Rhonda do that on the budget reports too, so that the department head will know what they actually are targeting, rather than what their original budget was for this year. So, and some of his lines are just gonna be off, as far as one will be over, one will be
Yeah, I know
under.
that's gonna be difficult.
And they're all gonna be really close.
All
So
right.
which one was it that you were?
Professional contractual services, one that's over budget by
140.
10,000 something.
Oh, wait, wait a sec.
He's like on page 26 or 7 or something like that.
Oh, is that in gravel? Yeah. That was in the contractual line item for the gravel. So we know that that's gonna go, that would be for hauling. And so we knew that line was gonna be over. And,
Why is it considered that would be for third party
yes,
vendor that's hauling?
correct.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, I got it.
So may I interject there, because I noticed when you brought up contractual, I noticed several of the departments have overdrawn on their contractual.
A lot of time, I mean, if you need to look at the department's bottom number, because that's what they need to try to stay within.
Right.
If they're over on one line, under on another line, that's
Yeah,
fine.
it's a wash then.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions? No.
Okay,
Go ahead, Tina.
let me see how far this goes. Okay, and we do have the 2 early checks, and one of them we've already talked about, and then the other one is tank, underground tank monitoring, and that looks like it's got a due date before payday, so that's probably why it's on for a week today.
Yeah, the first one was for $2,000 for canine donation to the city of Marion. We talked about already.
And that's being paid out of diversion. The county attorney has discretion over those diversion funds, and there are certain things that they can be used for, but that's not being paid with tax dollars.
Okay, and the other one's $900, tank management service for underground tank monitoring. How often do they, you know, how often they do that?
I think that's an annual
Yeah.
invoice. I'd have to double check that.
Is that for our tank up, fuel tank up, fit shop it?
The underground tanks that we have.
Up at the shop, we have underground tank.
We do have underground tank, the things that are where our fuel pump is. And then we have an underground tank here for the generator.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
It's
Is
right
above
up-
ground?
It's above ground, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's right under the generator, the diesel fuel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah, it's above ground, there's no underground that I know of.
Maybe that was the old one that we had. But then we had a tank at one time. I thought we had.
Whenever, we don't have any properties that have come back to the county for unpaid taxes that have any underground tanks anymore, do we?
No.
We did at one time.
There's that one Peabody with the tanks are out.
Yeah.
But we don't have that property.
It's not
We
that.
didn't take it, we didn't put it on the tax sale because there was some ongoing
Contamination.
things with it, so. Okay. And I have had some updates on that
Oh, really?
within the last few months. I called and did some research on it because we had some questions from the city of Peabody. And there is another remediation project that's supposed to be going on toward the end of the year. They're gonna be putting some more equipment on that property, the KDG is, so.
Well, in regards to that, here we're supposed to put things on the tax sale, you know, people, because there's no taxes being paid on this property.
No.
And I don't know if that's the city of Peabody's question or not.
No.
But yet, where does it become our job to do that? I mean, we don't want to take on a debt, I agree, but yet,
Yeah, otherwise we'd be taking on a big liability with remediation.
yeah, and I don't know, I thought that during Unruh's deal, which is across the street, that happened quite a few years ago, but I thought the state stood liable, KDHE stood liable for some of this.
Well, as of right now, the county has not opted to put that on the tax sale, and the state is moving forward with remediation. I believe, I mean, we talked about that several years ago,
Yeah.
and at that time, it was recommended the county not get involved in that process and not take that property at the time because of
But we never had
the
a
liability.
statement, we never had a statement from KDHE at that time even, I don't believe. It was just an attorney's opinion. And that's what I'm getting at is there some, would a question be the proper question to say, who's liable if we put it up for tax sale to the KDHE? You know what I'm saying?
We've had those discussions. I've had a lot of those same discussions
Okay.
with KDHE. And
Okay.
so they're cleaning it, and I think that's a great thing that they're cleaning it.
I agree.
Yeah.
I do have
We
some
need to
salary
stay away
sheets.
from that.
Here are some salary sheets.
Okay, some salary changes. Under the ambulance, salary change for Robert Luce from 15 to 15.25, 6-month raise as paramedic. Also on the ambulance, Charles Kinney, new full-time paramedic, 6-month and 1 month raise of $15. And also under the ambulance, Timothy Vogel, new full-time EMT, 6-month and 1-year raise at $12 per hour.
Okay, last week, it came up in the public comment time about a question about the Poor Farm Cemetery. And so on the screen there, you see a pictometry image. This is the Poor Farm property. And this is about a 9 to 10 acre parcel that is owned by the county. It's mostly trees. And as you zoom in on this image, you see this, oops,
Was there?
yep, let me go back in there. This little tiny square, you can see it has some little dots on it. So when I saw that, I thought, well, that is probably the cemetery because those are probably headstones. So I did a little bit more research and we did go out there just to kind of see what the property looks like, and that is the cemetery. And the cemetery, from what Rebecca and I can tell, the register of deeds, it is owned by the county. And I've been here over 15 years and I didn't know that that was owned by the county. Nobody has ever talked about it or said anything about it in our office, so. But anyway, it used to be with the Poor Farm property. The commissioners, I think in the 50s, sold off some farm ground that was back in this area behind the Poor Farm property. And then 1964, they sold off the Poor Farm itself, the house. And at some point, this piece of farm ground was sold off of that and combined, I think, into this.
Well, the 60s is when they built the new one in Peabody, because that was the
Yes.
county.
Yes.
That was the county.
Right.
First.
And so the county has always, since I've got the original deed when we got the whole piece, and it was 1887, so we own that piece. And so I do have some pictures, and I've got a little bit of video, which is really, really bad, but of
Yeah,
out there.
I went out and looked at that last week also. It doesn't look like the county's utilized it for many, many years.
Well, you're talking about the property adjoining the
property
cemetery.
adjoining, yeah.
So here's the grass out there. Oh, please ignore me, 'cause- and there is poison ivy out there, by the way, just,
You just play it off?
no, because I wasn't really planning on going in there. We just, so you can see the tall grass there. There's some headstones. And then back in that back corner is where the headstone is for the Negro boy, back there.
The last time I come in, we was still cleaning stuff off of some of the road and bridge.
Piles and stuff.
Yeah.
There's a little, looks like concrete bunker.
Yes, yes.
I don't know what that was.
That was some explosive bunkers, the way they kept some of their explosives and stuff in some of it. I don't know if that's the one or not, but is that, I think so.
It almost looked like some kind of storm shelter or something. Went back to the Cold War era.
Yeah.
Well, that's actually a shame for a cemetery to look like that.
Well, and since we own it, then we probably need to be doing something
We need to
about
do
it.
something.
I think we do,
Yeah.
really. It just makes me sad to see that.
Well, sure. And I don't even know if the previous county clerk knew that we owned that cemetery, because it was never discussed in here.
I just always figured it was kind of back there where the house was.
I think that's what everyone at the county assumed, was that it was with the house.
does no one live in that house now?
Oh, it looks like
It
it's
looks
over.
bad.
It looks like it's been
That's how it
vandalized
was
and
always
everything
known.
else. Windows broken out of it.
I think that's how it was always mowed.
The people in the house
This is
mowed
the
it.
first year it's never been mowed. I always thought it was.
That was the lady that was in, that we're talking about, that was in here to visit.
Right,
Yeah.
I know.
Did everybody get a chance to look at it?
Yeah.
She's not living there, I don't believe.
I
She
wouldn't
was-
say that.
She was with windows
not.
broken out and plywood up and,
Oh, okay, I didn't know. She's not living there then.
but she's not now.
No, that's what Phyllis
She's
said.
my neighbor.
Oh, really?
So you don't live out beside the poor farm? Okay. So then she's not living there. Here's
Wanna
just some
spend the night there.
photos.
Oh, somebody left a wreath.
Yeah, there's a wreath on the fence.
So apparently somebody still cares. That's,
Well, I still care.
well, I mean, a direct connection, you know,
Just saying.
maybe like family or something.
So anyway, I just wanted to let you know what research showed that we do have that.
So what must we do to start?
Thank
Is there anything official that we need to do to get that cleaned up and?
Well, I think we can, well, Tina and I talked a little bit about just having Bud go out and spray it down and kill it. And then we have to pass a resolution to sell it.
Well, I don't know about that.
Well, we need to ask.
Yeah,
Brad.
that's what I'm saying. You should probably ask Brad, because if you wanted to sell off the land, not the cemetery, but the rest of the parcel. The way that all of these were done was that they passed a resolution first and then they sold it. So
I think
if you
it's-
wanted to sell any of the other bigger parcel, but I think that with the cemetery, we're gonna have some obligations, and I don't, you know.
Yeah, maybe we can just sell it without.
And you don't want to spray the cemetery, because that looks like that's nice grass there, that if it's mowed and maintained, it would, it looks like brome, actually.
And you can't get in the gate though with riding mower. So I don't know, you'd have to have a heavy duty weed eater to go in there,
Okay.
unless you took part of that fence down. Which,
I mean-
and you could do that, but,
I would think we had some heavy duty weed eaters, don't we?
well, yeah, it'd be a couple of guys, it'd take a while, but that'd probably be the only other way other than
I think a
spraying.
weed eater's the way to go because of the headstones. You don't wanna take a chance of digging one with a big riding mower,
Yeah.
especially
That's
if
a
you're
chance you
low and
always
you
take
can't
when
see.
when you're mowing a cemetery.
Yeah.
Well, I think the people though that maintain those cemeteries, they do an awful job. They do an awesome job. They know how to do that. I don't see any of the stones being deemed anyplace else.
Yeah.
So I think they pretty much know what they're doing.
City of Florence owns its cemetery out north, and we pay quite a bit of money to keep it maintained well, and it is maintained well.
And they're not dinged.
No,
Okay.
no,
Well,
he's
see, I
very
never
careful
seen that
around the
either.
headstones.
You can see the stones now. Here
Yeah,
you won't know whether after you hit one
right.
Oh,
because of grass.
so
So
I
maybe
still
you
say
can weed eat it
eater.
first and then,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Say weed
thinking.
eater.
and then go from there.
Yeah.
How much
Few
labor you
weeks.
want to spend on
It's
it?
a few weeks away from frost. I don't know how far frost was.
Could be 2 weeks, could be a month.
Yeah.
30 days.
Could be 2 months.
To me, just
Could be
knowing
clear
it
into
now that it's
December.
ours, I just hate to put it off any time at all. At least get it basically cleaned
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand maybe we might want to dig it up and plant decent grass or whatever in the future, but for now, you just agree? I just think.
I think you ought to wait till winter time when there's
Right off.
counties looking for something to do. Right now, they're all too busy fixing the roads.
Plus, we just went out there and
And this
weed
has been
eated area
neglected for
around each
years.
stone, so at least
So what's
they're
a month from now?
viewable.
The difference is now we know. Now
Yeah.
we know, so that's the difference.
Okay.
I mean, someone could go out there and weed eat around all the stones in an hour, so
I would think.
Yeah.
then maybe we could.
Just who do you want to sign it to?
Jesse?
Yeah. You're here, Jesse, why don't you do it? Or delegate.
Need more ditches now.
We're all at a dead run, just like Dave said.
Yeah,
We're at a
just-
dead run for the end of the year
Yeah.
to winter time.
Well, I bet you could get somebody even to volunteer to do it if they knew. I probably know a couple people up in my area that would be happy to volunteer to do that, just for the historical part of it. I mean, if we're that busy.
The guy that does our
mowing at the cemetery, I bet he would do it. It's Josh Mackey with Aesthetic Tree Service.
Well, I don't know, would he volunteer to do it?
I'm sure.
I don't know, well, better ask.
Well,
We don't
I'm not
volunteer
sure.
anybody, so.
I would think.
Yeah,
I'm just saying that that would be an option
It's a big
if the
job.
county is so busy that we can't do it, I'm sure we could get somebody to volunteer to lead it. If I have to do it myself, I would do it, I would volunteer to do it. I have a real heavy duty eater.
that grass will just wrap up around it, no matter what. It's
Well, it has a blade on
Yeah, I don't know what the plates do, I don't know.
it.
That's
And then
more-
they kind of saw it like
They
a saw.
could take out there what my dad always called an idiot stick. Because you can put any idiot on it and cut grass.
Anyway,
Uh,
I think it's more common.
Well, I don't know. We need to direct someone to try to find a volunteer to go out there, or we all grab our weed eaters and run out there.
I have Josh Mackey's phone number. I can call him and ask him if he would be willing to volunteer for something like that.
I think it's something that the commissioner and county should take control of actually at this point. We should probably find somebody.
You have that number you can give to Tina, or to
I
one
do.
of us?
I
I
do.
can call him too, doesn't matter.
Okay. And it's in my phone, which is in my car.
And what is he, if he says he needs to be paid,
They might
Do
say
we-
forget it because they'll need to check.
can we, could we pay him for?
Oh, I wouldn't
The county
mind
does it.
if it's under $100 to go out and clean it up.
Take whatever they're against.
But you're not giving anybody else volunteer.
No, not the poor.
I mean, I know some people that live out in there, but, you know, Doug Pett lives to the south. I don't know if he and his family would do it or not.
Well, that's just it, we're not even trying to do it, we're just all of a sudden picking one person and offering maybe to do it for $100 without even trying anybody else that would maybe do it voluntarily. I mean, even if it's a week till we find that person.
I'll get it taken care of this week. How about that?
Very good. I appreciate it, Jesse. Okay,
Problem solved.
Yes.
thank you.
Thank you, Tina, for the research too.
Yep.
Yes, thank you.
I assumed all cemeteries sort of had their own place, and maybe, you know, I know that a lot of the small ones out there always have somebody over.
Townships usually.
Yeah, it's usually a cemetery district or township.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That has that.
they budget to pay somebody, or bid it out, or whatever. Okay, anything else?
Nope.
Okay, road and bridge. I'm filling in today, Jesse.
Good morning. Transport fuel bids.
There's two up there. Okay, looks like there are two bids again, right? Two bids, low bid of $17,772.50 from Co-op Brand Supply. So I'll make a motion to approve that purchase of Co-op Brand Supply for transport fuel bids.
Second.
Moving second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Permit there for, I guess, Shamar Oil. I guess this was, presented to you guys maybe a week or two ago. There's just one there, one permit there.
So, you have any other copies?
No, just that one.
Oh, just the one, okay.
Is that
this
the one where they wanted to put it on the bridge?
Yes. Bryce did some checking into that, and since it's not a high-pressure line or anything, there's no concern there on anyone's part, so he was gonna allow them to do that. Put it on the side of the bridge.
Okay, this is a road right-of-way agreement with Shamar Oil and Gas Company to secure a 2 7/8" steel line to the south side of Middle Creek Bridge on 240th for gas gathering system. Okay, it's been moved to approve that permit of use of right-of-way. Moved and seconded, all those in favor? Aye.
motion on co-op?
What's that?
You guys make the motion.
Just sign this one.
And hand that to you.
Will Bryce be in tomorrow?
At the end of the day, yeah. At the
Just
meeting.
later?
Yeah, in the meeting this morning.
Some questions for us, so.
Okay.
Anything else?
That'd be it.
Thank you.
Have a good
Oh, you're not that easy to get away from. We've had a problem in Florence, east city limits, the old, it's called Stringtown Road, I don't know, it's actually 120th. Last year or so, when the brush was pushed up against there and stuff, and it, water coming off the Highway 50, coming down through there, it developed a road right away, running right down the road, because both sides of the brick street was 6 to 8 inches high, and so just a gully down through there. And you know, we got to it, the Road and Bridge did there last week, and I would just like to comment, the guys that did that was very, you know, it made it look good, it needed to be done. We've cut the brush back before, but it really looks nice now. It's stripped some out, and lo and behold, I even caught a supervisor running a piece of equipment down there, helping him out Friday, so. Well, both supervisors was there, but one supervisor running some equipment, so helping the guy out that was running the traco and stuff like that. But the main thing is, the whole job looks nice. It saved that street, it needed to be saved, and so if you guys get a chance, just take a look at it if you're down in Florence. And makes everything look good, because it was like what we call some of our roads like this, and now it's shaped like this. I mean, just by cutting through, getting ditches cleaned out, so. And it's going to the river finally. I mean, it floods down in that area, but it's just a nice little, the guys did a nice job. Now, I don't know about the guy that was operating the equipment Friday, but the rest of the guys did a nice job, so. Thank you, Jesse. Tell everybody thanks.
I will.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too. Okay. Is Isaac? Yep. Isaac. Good morning, Isaac. Good morning.
So, I'm here, I'll give you guys a little update on what's going on up there with the heater dock. Or I guess where we're at with it. Thursday before Labor Day, we had that windstorm come through. And I still don't know exactly what happened. But Friday morning, the dock, all of the cables that held it in place broke except one. And then all of the pipes that ran off the concrete pilings all broke. So right now the dock, we have it chained up, but only one original cable is holding it on. If you've been out there, it's swung around, it's in the corner now of the dam. And so after talking to Tina, we found out that there's insurance on it. I don't know how it's covered. I spoke with, his name is James Gambrill from K-Camp. And he originally told me to get a damage assessment from a contractor that was willing to assess the dock. I had a gentleman come in he was from a company called Home Resort out of Wichita. And he looked at it and he believes the dock is total. Because the actual dock itself, the body part, seems to be fine. When it swung around and it hit the bank, it looks like the base of the dock and the floats underneath all got off center about 8 inches. And his main concern is if you were going to do any kind of repair on that dock, you're going to have to tear up the flooring, which the way the rules are now, if you have those styrofoam floats underneath and they are exposed during any kind of project, they cannot stay in. They have to come out and be replaced with the polymer plastic floats. The electrical line was still attached Friday morning. We got that detached and shut off. The gas line was broke, so we got that shut off. Now, the next Friday, last Friday, James with K-Camp actually came out and assessed it himself. He brought a contractor down from Kansas City to look at it. And he believes very well that it probably is total. So now he told me he wants me to get 2 more contractors to come and look at it to submit bids into him as far as what they believe is wrong with it and what needs to be done. So I've had one, I need to get 2 more people to go down and look at it. I've had a hard time finding people that are interested in taking on the project. I've contacted now, this past week, a company out of Kansas City who was recommended to me by the insurance gentleman. And then there's a company out of Council Grove as well that seems like they might be interested. The gentleman I talked to said he has to talk to his supervisor before he can give me an answer. And right now, that's where we're at. So I need to still find 2 more people that would be interested in coming down and looking at the dock and getting a hold of our insurance company. The first guy said if we ended up needing a new dock, his guess was somewhere between 100 and 120,000. He said there are things in that dock that we could reuse that are still in very good shape. The benches, which I don't know when those were put in, they don't look like they're very old, that the people sit on in there, you know. And then we have that locker storage room, which the lockers and everything out of there are fine. The fish feeder in the heated dock's perfectly fine. So there are a lot of things that we could probably reuse. He mentioned the possibility of maybe being able to take off the roof and the walls of the dock, and possibly reusing them. He said he didn't know if he'd be able to without actually looking into it. And I think that's a big problem, is what exactly is going on underneath everything that you can't see. But that was his estimate. Was he said he was guessing it was going to be somewhere between 100 and 120 for something brand new. Yeah, so I just have to try to find 2 more people that'd be interested in coming down and giving us a quote for that. I haven't tried yet. I've had a lot of people recommend maybe going to Missouri or Oklahoma, looking for places around there just because they're used to a lot bigger docks. They have the marinas and everything on some of those lakes down there. There's a couple in Kansas that have them, but not quite like they do over there. It's a pretty unique project. But that is where we're sitting. They said, James with K-Camp, he said if it is something that we're interested in doing and we're covered and everything, it's a $5,000 deductible from the county for a project like that. But all of that, he said, is we can discuss once we get 2 more quotes. But that's kind of where I'm sitting now with the dock.
Are you trying to keep people off of it then?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
Because I've heard people say, oh, people are still.
Yeah, and once it did happen, because that happened, well, that Friday morning of Labor Day, we did have some people that went down and got on it. Because not the walkway, I don't know if you saw the pictures, but the walkway was, but that side of the dock had swung over to the shoreline and they were getting on there, which now it's all shut down. So there hasn't been anybody on it since, well, it would have been like last Tuesday or Wednesday. We closed it all up.
Do we need to get it out of the water?
The way it is now, it's secure where it is. If you wanted to get it out, we probably could, I think. And that's something I didn't know, and I didn't talk to James about it. He mentioned, the insurance gentleman mentioned that he wanted us to keep it shut down. I told him that walkway, we ended up dropping that walkway down with the tractor. We just hooked up to the tractor just because I didn't want anybody trying to climb on it. So it's down laying flat now. I don't know if we could pull it out without destroying it or not.
Before you do anything, we gotta have insurance.
Yes, yeah. And we talked about it. I don't think we'd be able to move it with a boat, but I do think if maybe we just grabbed onto it with maybe a couple of winch trucks and tried to drive it up on the bank, push it up on the bank, you could get it up. We talked about the possibility of a crane, and I just talked to Bryce about it very briefly. And he mentioned, well, if you hooked up to it and tried to lift it, would everything just crumble?
Yeah.
And that was kind of, the way that those pipes broke after that were holding it on, the way that they broke, it just makes me think that everything underneath there might
They
just
were
be
probably
rotten.
corroded about
Yeah,
through.
yeah, and that's kind of what I was afraid of. So we just secured it there for the time being, but I do think if pulling it out was something that was okay with the insurance and was wanted to do, I think we could get it out. I just don't know if we'd be able to get it out in one piece.
With the lake up, is this lake still full?
It is. Honestly, we're sitting about perfectly with the water level right now.
I just wondered if it's easier to float it across and take it out the
I think it
side
would
of it.
be. I think it would be. And even if you didn't take it out of the ramp there, if you go just a little farther east past the ramp,
Yeah.
there's that big grassy area
Yeah,
that
that's-
you can pull it up on, I think.
That would be
Yes.
about the best place, I would think.
Somebody mentioned maybe being able to pull it to a boat ramp and getting one of those big, like a trailer, home trailer, and see if you could winch it up on one of those, but I don't, I don't know if it would be possible or not. I really don't.
Well, you know, we've talked about the heated dock for several years now, and we do know that it's an asset.
Yes.
Not now, it's not. It's
Right.
right building.
Right.
You know,
The unfortunate circumstances, it's basically could end up being a blessing.
well, yeah, I mean, did you check with the people, you know, they built one out at Melbourne.
Yes.
And I don't think that's been many years ago.
Okay.
See if they still knew who built that.
I haven't, but that is somebody I can call. I know Eureka recently had done an upgrade on theirs, which theirs is kind of completely different than ours.
Mhm.
And I called the city last week, because that's a city lake over there, and they said that they were gonna get a hold of the superintendent that was out there at the time, it's a new one now, and try to see if he could give me some information on who did their recent renovations. I wasn't aware of Melbourne. I knew they had one out there, but I didn't know that it was.
You know, if somebody knew, you know, oh, this local guy built it or something, be a contact person.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, I've had 2 or 3 come out and look at it that just said seemed to be a little too much, which I don't blame them.
And I understand it would probably be a lot easier just to build a new one.
Yeah.
But when if you was to build a new one, the locker room's not necessary out there, is it? I mean,
We talked about that, and I don't think it would be a necessity, and even somebody brought up, even if you wanted to bring in, like maybe one of those little shed buildings
Mhm.
to put on the land, maybe next to it, and you could lock it up and do everything like that, just right there.
I know.
And you wouldn't actually have to have it attached to the dock out on the water. You could have a little building right there if people wanted to store their stuff in. And you could kind of use the locker system the same way.
yeah, I guess I'm not fishing, I didn't realize it was all that stuff there.
Yeah, you know, it's pretty much full.
Just because it's there, or if they didn't have?
I don't know, you know, but there's a lot of people that you know, they're bringing little crappie rods and just
Yeah.
put them in there for the year, and maybe a net, and then when they run in and out, they can just show up and go into the locker room and get that stuff out. And then the only other thing that we really have in there is we store like our fish feed and stuff, which we could do at the shop. And then they have a little coffee room in there that they can get their coffee, but that's really all it's used for back there right now, which I don't know why you couldn't do something. If you really wanted to, you could do something just from the shoreline there with a little building. Even if you set it next to the restroom, the little house that's out there. But, yeah, because that was something that has been brought up too, is if we would have to have that locker room, which I know some people use it a lot more than others, but it is something that is used.
Well, I guess at this point, we'll wait on insurance, but,
Okay, and we'll keep trying to get,
you know, I guess once we find out on that, I'd like to see us move forward with something.
yes. Okay.
You know, it may get used, it's probably out for this winter, but it gets used a lot in the winter.
It does, it really does.
If insurance okays it, I think maybe the commission ought to ask the insurance if it would be okay to remove it from the lake. Whether it falls apart, whether it.
Either way.
Well, either way, I mean, just remove it from the lake after.
We're gonna have to remove it at some point.
Yeah.
Is that something you'd like me to ask them now? If we can,
In form of a letter, so that you have verification that they've, I see it in the letter
So
written.
he's already adjusted it?
So he came out, I got my first quote, that happened on what was a Thursday night, Friday morning. And then I had called them that Friday, right after it happened. And he told me to try to get somebody out there to look at it this week. And I found that one gentleman out of Wichita, and he claimed, that he believed it was total. And right after that, he wrote me up a little thing and emailed it to me, which I emailed it over to the insurance gentleman. That would have been Thursday morning. And he called me about 5 minutes after, and he said, I'm gonna come out on Friday and look at it myself. And I'm gonna bring the guy with me from Kansas City, just so he could see it in person. And I said, okay. So I met with him out there. He measured a lot of stuff, and he didn't really say anything. He said, I do believe that it is probably total. And he said, all I need from you is 2 more quotes and then he said, and we can go from there. And that's the last conversation I've had with him.
I guess we'll wait and see what this
Okay.
is.
Keep us updated.
Okay, can do.
All right, well, appreciate you coming in.
Thank you.
Put yourself on there. Okay, I got a guy that said he'd be interested.
Okay, is Bud and Randy here?
There.
Morning, Randy.
That might be cool right now.
Morning. Morning.
Ready?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Well, we have 2 things I know about. I was wanting to hear comments from you guys on nitpicking the 90% plans. And then I got the bid I referenced last week back, and then in the process went and got another bid for doing the changing the electrical work because I wasn't happy with the first one. Wanted to verify a number that I didn't like on it, so. You guys want to give me your comments on the
Okay.
plans first?
Go ahead. Randy, you probably have some.
No, just, the doors and stuff, until you put it down in final drawings, why, I didn't find anything really that's 50 foot was, you said you took care of that?
Yes, yeah, no, that's a reference to the building,
Well, to
not
the-
the door.
okay.
The door is a 18 by
Yeah.
14,
That's in the pit.
or is it 18 by 16?
He's talking I think the public drop off.
Okay, those will wind up being 7 by 9,
Yeah.
or, roughly 7 by 9.
And you guys discussed some about barricades, and Bud, you and I talked a little
Right.
bit. What did you come up with on the garage?
Actually, we all looked over at McPherson, how they do their public dumping. They have an actual sidewalk with a 6-inch curb there that people back up to that will potentially stop them before they hit the building. I think instead of putting the bollards at the door, we just need to do that in front of them doors. That's a lot safer, I believe, than trying to.
Didn't they have posts there too, though?
Well, I couldn't remember. I couldn't remember if they had the bollards there or not. But I don't think that that's gonna make any difference because you're gonna have the concrete there, for them to throw the trash in over, because we're gonna be pushing inside, getting that trash around to the pit. So, myself, I don't think we need the bollards there because you're not gonna be hitting the metal building unless you just fly up. If you do that, you're going in the door.
Even then,
They will.
the architect,
Somebody will.
the architect had drawn kind of incorrectly where he showed metal siding along that side. It's going to be, my opinion is there should be concrete showing. Oh wait, yeah, the architect showed concrete halfway and then not the other half, and that was just a miscommunication between me and him. That's one of the things we'll clean up.
And then the landing area up there that they will be driving on is close to the pit drive.
Right.
On C6 there, you see right there on the south side of that building, phase 2 there, you see where it looks like it's going right up to the pit wall. Bud, you and I talked about the pit wall being extended up.
Right, I'd like to see it extended concrete up 2 foot above the ground level. That keeps somebody from going down into the pit. The way it's designed now, it's level with a
Metal railing.
metal railing, and I just as soon have the concrete come up, and it's safety.
I think Bud and I talked, I'd rather have the posts there.
Bollards?
At least bollards, or what, bollards, whatever you want to call them.
Yes.
I'd rather have some posts along there so that they at least hit that before they go in the pit and then hit the concrete wall.
Yeah,
And so,
yeah.
Are you thinking you want bollards and the 2 foot concrete wall?
Yep,
Or
yep.
okay.
we don't want people in that pit.
No, no.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Yeah, as I started looking through, I realized that the metal hand railing was what was keeping vehicles. That's
And
needs to be a little more.
No, I don't mind the hand railing even on top of the 2 foot higher.
I think we'll do. We about have to for public safety.
Yes.
People standing there. It'll wind up being at least, I believe it's 42 inches is your requirement. So we'll probably go 48, 2 foot concrete, and then another 2
48.
foot of handrail.
All right, that's, no, 2 foot of handrail or?
Yeah,
That
was
makes
what
it
I was-
48.
2 foot concrete, 2 foot handrail.
That puts you.
Because normal hand railing has to be 42, I believe.
Whatever, 'cause it's sure, I know at the Newton pit, when you look there, it's nice to look over. Everybody wants to look over and see the track out underneath there. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just like the pit we have now. Everybody wants to go throw their stuff in the pit, so.
Yeah.
So whatever we do, we want to be safe.
Wow.
And that's, to me, is pretty important there in that part of it. The north side, it closes back up to maybe a door over there on the north side after the whole building is done.
Yes, and I was planning on that pit wall going up the additional 2 feet, like we just
Okay.
discussed, the same,
Okay.
for safety. That won't be, you shouldn't really have any general public over there once the
Right.
building is completed. We're putting a man door there just as a quick escape from the office, and I kind of figured if employees want to pull up their apartment, that'd be a good access point for employees.
Just keep in mind safety again, that because if the employee's family comes to see the employee and the kid gets out of the car, oh, look at the pit. I'm just keep in mind safety. That's
Yeah.
all. That's all I'm. Yeah. That's all I care about. So just make sure if we're going to have public around there, well, we're going to have some railing or something too, just like the other side.
Yep, it'll be the same as
Okay.
2 foot with the railing on top.
And then we discussed the ceiling fans that were designed in there. We've eliminated them since we're going to be wide open.
Okay.
I see no sense in having them because the way this is designed, you shouldn't very seldom have anybody out on the floor. It should just be a machine running, you know, and the only time you have somebody is recycling, you know, when you're guiding them.
Was that towards the back, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, I can't remember where it's.
Yeah, it would be mechanical, so it would be the back. Yeah, next to last sheet, E2 is where the ceiling fans were.
And then lighting was the other thing that come up on that. I know we got to have some lighting and stuff. Is this lighting quite a bit of it, or is there too much for? I mean, you got to have it in case we work of a night. I mean, that's.
Well, and then also if you're backing in and the sun's been coming up, you know, in the morning, if you can see in that building, it's a lot better. Just from experience recycling down there, when you get out of the building and you're trying to see the guys back in there, you've really got to squint to see back in there because of the yellow building that you're pulling against. It's glaring off of that. And the more, when we put the new lights in the transfer station we have up there now, that improved 120%.
What if we do this? What if we make sure that they give you plenty of options on like a switch for each row, and a row being the row runs north and south, so that as you work further back into the building, you've got more option for kicking on more lights depending upon what you guys are doing.
Yeah.
Is kind of what I'm seeing, because the pit, I almost guarantee you're going to want, even broad daylight, you're going to be clear back in the back corner of your building, I think you're gonna want those lights on all day, every day, probably.
Okay, and do you have a page number for your floor drain for the top floor? I know you, Bud and I talked a little bit about drains again.
Floor drain for the top floor.
The floor's all going, you're not running one across the floor or anything?
We are not. I have got since then, because of final reviews, that's why we were calling these 90%ers. I have put together a very clear drainage plan for the floor slab that honestly is easy to explain. It's all going to run to the pit.
Okay.
So that when you wash it down, it easily is either sprayed or squeegeed or whatever and will slope the entire way from the entrance door on the west to the pit.
Okay.
Is how it will drain.
Then there's drainage in the pit.
Yes, yeah. In the bottom of the pit, there is a in floor drain, and then there's also one at either door to catch rainwater prior to going in.
So does that have to have a lift station?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, they'll go into the sand sludge separator, and then
What is that?
the liquid will go over into a lift station and pump it out.
We also talked about electric earlier with the city, and
That's what you were talking about, wasn't it, Randy?
This
Get
is
another quote or something?
no,
Well-
this is bringing the transformer up. We have a new transformer out there for this other building, and when all three of us and the city met down there, the city was willing to bring up power 240, was it 240?
208,
Whatever, yeah.
however you.
And that's what he's put in a couple locations. Maybe it's just the one. He's put a power 208 30 amp plug-in, which would be for like a welder or something industrial. But the building's going to have 208,
Okay.
which is the newer form of 240, from
Okay.
my understanding.
And then they mentioned,
It's three phases, it's 3 equal legs, 120.
yeah,
There you go.
On a multiplication scale of 1.7.
Okay.
Before I start saying too much.
We don't have.
else.
The guy sitting here.
I wasn't trying to butt in.
No, that's, you know about that stuff.
Yeah, but so that's my understanding. The 208's the newer version of what. So,
And most of your 240 volt stuff is.
Is there, in our outlook, Jonah, was, we don't have nothing right now, but we don't know what the future brings. At least have it there to the building.
we felt
yeah.
like we were being irresponsible on a building this size to not at
3
least get it
phases
there.
right there.
Exactly.
It's not like you're bringing in a half mile of primary.
Right.
I mean,
and he was talking, he'd just tie into that transformer, they just set and bring it up around and maybe put another transformer up there by the new building. That's what
Yeah,
you
you
said he
guys,
was talking.
you have the optimal position
Right.
to not, I mean, it would be so silly not to have it.
Right.
Did you guys feel that earthquake?
Is that what that was?
238 or whatever in the morning?
Well, the.
No.
just-
No,
Oh.
that thunk that just happened.
Yeah,
somebody
that's
was
what that
happy.
was.
I thought somebody was happy in the other room, was
I thought it was
stomping
my
their feet.
foot.
Yes, I
Yeah.
felt it.
I thought it was
Had one in
upstairs.
Chase
but-
County this morning, and they felt it out at East Shore.
I felt one at 2:38 a.m.
I
in
thought it was a
Florence.
couple minutes ago. I did.
Anyway,
What about when we get into the grade work and stuff like that? I mean, you know, I see the lines, and I hope your calculations are great. So that we have it, the access to the scales and everything, but I guess if there's something we run across in construction, how would we go about changing it if it don't go? I mean, I'm not a great person. What I'm getting at is what are we gonna have to do if there is something that we see that's not gonna work after we start grading it?
Even with our layout currently, I've told told Bud, you may find it's in your best interest to change the direction that the trucks are going. Currently, if they're at least,
Yeah.
they should pull, they may have to pull onto the scale, head north, to then drive around the building,
That's fine.
just to give themselves the right alignment to get back in. Again, it'll depend on
Okay.
what size vehicle, that kind of stuff. As far as changing grades and stuff, I mean, we're coming up a considerable amount, which I guess I would almost tell you bodes well for you, because when you're flat and you're not changing anything, it's harder to make adjustments than there is with the major change. I kind of cringe at how high we are going, because we are adding quite a bit of filter. The trick is going deeper isn't a very good option either. It's let's face it, you're putting a semi up in the air and you're putting a semi underneath.
Yeah.
Both are considerably tall vehicles. You're splitting the difference. The current building is already at a good elevation, and because we're doing half construction and then doing the other half, it doesn't bode very well to change the elevation of the current structure unless you're going to knock it 6 inches one way or the other would be fine.
Okay. And the cross beam support in the framing of the building is going to be running north-south, and it won't be nothing east-west.
Correct. Yeah. You'll have girders running east-west.
Yes.
But yeah,
Yeah,
it's going to be a
girders
clear
east-west.
span building running north-south.
Okay. So that the west end won't have to have the support wall.
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's my architect left in the end wall. That's one of
Right.
the changes. It's coming out.
Okay.
That I think he took what we typically do and left it in, and yeah, that'll be clear open all the way out there. Won't be an exhaust fan or a light, exterior light right there, and it'll be completely open up to the bottom edge of the main span beams.
And you've got a big pit down there, big enough, you're not putting us in a 4-inch or anything down in the pit to cross drain. It's going to be big enough that we can lift the gates off and
Yes, it's a 12-inch 12-inch wide grate as well.
Okay. Flat nose shovel fit in between there? Yeah, it should.
They're 8 inches usually.
Okay.
You can almost buy anything more.
Yeah, and
to
even
fit.
for that, if you're gonna have a pump truck come and clean out your sand oil separator periodically, probably just as easy to have him yank them grates and have him go in there, suck whatever's in the bottom of that pit out.
It is just in case it fills up between the.
What Bud and I saw in Emporia wasn't pretty.
Yeah.
I mean,
There was trash.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of trash in it.
Hopefully we don't have that problem.
Right, yeah.
You know, hopefully,
Liquids.
and one thing that isn't on these plans that Randy and I told him we definitely wanted, and I think, is the rubber batting coming on down off of the metal in the pit going into the truck, into the trailer.
Yeah, that's
That will be contractor installed.
another item my architect left off that I've told him since then to add in that will be help keep trash from blowing around down there.
Now, when you get to talking about that, what about, you got angled walls coming into the pit, right?
The pit side is a concrete shelf, and it hangs over past the wall far enough that it'll make it to the truck. And the backside, yeah, the mezzanine decking has I-beams that stick out, so they're hanging over the truck, and then there's a tapered wall going back from that to help make sure everything falls.
But that's supposed to eliminate blowing trash.
Then we're gonna put rubber skirting that hangs down lower, because inevitably there's still 1.5 foot gap in there. Well, currently you guys have got nothing, so we're putting a rubber skirt in there so that if you ever pull a trailer in that's a little tall or whatever, it'll just scrape over the top of your trailer, but it'll ensure that the light items make it into your truck and aren't blowing all over down below.
I know McPherson has that, and Osage County has it, the rubber skirting on there. And it works. But we watched over at Osage County quite a bit. We got it. It worked good.
And your push floor just has the 45 into the or some sort of degree angle coming into the pit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
on both sides.
And metal, are we metal up the sides, 3 foot or 4 foot?
Yep, 4 foot, just,
Okay.
that's, we actually increased the stem wall height, just construction ease, it makes, 4 foot is a standard for everything. My structural kind of talked me into this. I originally, and we kind of discussed putting studs on the backside of the metal sheeting and attaching it to the concrete forms, and my structural thought it'd be better if they inlay angle iron into the concrete and then weld the paneling to the angle iron so that if you ever damaged a piece, yeah, it didn't take an act of Congress to change it out. So that's the direction we've gone. If you look in there, he shows details of the structurals on inlaying angle iron with studs on the backside of it.
Okay.
I have a question about the fill. You know, we're raising up quite a bit. And I know they have a lot of good, probably like compaction techniques, but, you know, with that much, can you expect any settling over a 5-10 year period?
Should not, if they follow our practice. I mean, we do that in a lot of locations where they do lots and lots, 20 plus foot of fill. We will have, part of our contract with you guys is to have an inspector on site. Part of that is testing. So as the contractor works, we will be out there to ensure that placement is done properly. Should not have any settling.
And coming out of our existing building now, the plan that we see here is about what it will be come out and come up steps to the building.
Yes, yeah, and that's, we kind of went rounds back and forth on what was the best way to achieve this. But yeah, there's an overhang that will be outside just to protect the stairs from ice, hopefully. But yeah, you'll have to come out of your existing new building and then go up a flight of stairs to get onto the tipping floor.
I think that's, but you run across anything else that you?
No, I haven't. Pretty much, Randy and I discussed, and you and I discussed. It's been covered, that's.
I'm willing to wait to see the next final stages and see what we come up with.
Okay, I'm still hoping to have everything ready to go to bid around October 1st, pending my subcontractors underneath me working with me. My architect's still dragging his feet a little here and there, but he said he would have stuff to me by Tuesday. That way we can get it compiled, make sure the contract documents are done. One of the main things for getting this out to bid is what I'd like to discuss with you now, which is part of this new design. We're taking the transmission lines on the west side of the building and making them underground. There's been multiple discussions on the best way to do this. Ultimately, I feel like the best way to get it coordinated properly and not have Bud having to coordinate it or whatever is to get a plan sheet designed and put in this packet, and then the general contractor who gets this project takes care of it. It's up to him to come up with who's going to do the work and that stuff. So the city has been using ESC engineering for updating some of their overhead major transmission lines. So it seemed obvious to me to reach out to them and get a quote. That this is who I was referring to. It took close to a month to get me a quote. And when I got it, it seemed rather high. They threw in a couple items that I didn't feel like we needed, but between design, bid questions, bid review, kickoff, construction questions, and inspection, their total was $29,119. It was a number that was high enough to make me want to go out and look for a comparable just to verify. After speaking to my current mechanical engineer, he didn't want anything to do with it because it was high voltage. He got me on to the Luntz, Daly, and Bryan out of Kansas City. Spoke with them. They would do everything that ESC was doing with a hard bid of, well, with a not to exceed of 15,000. So kind of told me my gut reaction was right, that they seemed a little high. I guess what I'm wanting to present to you guys, I assume is that we would like to increase our contract with you guys by that 15,000, or we will charge you whatever they bill us in the long run. That's actually, I've talked them into doing a not to exceed value with the idea that hopefully we can get it done cheaper than that. They said if we give them the go ahead right away, they'll come out Wednesday, meet with the city, and then hopefully have me a plan sheet good enough to bid off of by the 1st or before the 1st, and with the idea we may have to do an addendum in the 30-day bidding process, but all the major points will be covered by them at that point. We'll clean it up since the time frame's going to be pretty tight for them. So I wasn't sure if that's something you guys need to vote on, or
Well,
So-
I'm leaving Roger in the city in charge of the, I mean, I got, everything we do, we got okay with the city. I mean, that's what you're planning, right?
Yeah, he said they were gonna come meet with the
Yeah.
city.
yes,
As long
yeah,
as the city
yeah.
gets on board with this, that's all I'm.
Yes, and I have been in contact with Clayton. Boy, I don't know why that was such a struggle this morning, but I've been, and so has both of these engineering firms have spoke with Clayton to get information, and that's, yeah, the plan sheet would ultimately be approved by the city, yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
that's
no,
the way
and
I
that's
explained
where,
it to the city
where
administrator.
any of the inspection that either one of the companies put in there, as far as I'm concerned, I'm more concerned about the city doing their inspection and the city approving the work in the long run than I am the design and engineering firms. So.
You're thinking the whole job's gonna be under 15,000?
No, this is strictly the design.
The
work,
engineering. That's the engineering.
Yeah, the engineering. Yeah. No, the work I've spoke with these guys. I'm pretty confident will be around $25,000 for the work, which will be part of the bid. That's the whole point of putting this in with our package, so that it's the general contractor takes care of that. But that being said, so we've got 15,000 in design engineering, another 25,000 in labor and materials. My demolition expert told me it easily saved him $50,000 to do this work. So that yeah, does kind of wash out. But that it's one of those where the new design those lines have to be moved, and it's just a bonus that it'll help us with demolition. So.
I was just gonna say, he asked if you need an official action, and you will need an official action to increase the contract with the engineering firm for that extra amount not to exceed 15,000 if you go that way.
Okay. What's the commission's wishes?
I say do it.
Okay. You wanna make a motion to that effect?
Yes, I'll go ahead and make a motion to go ahead and approve the additional $15,000, not to exceed $15,000, excuse me, on the contract's estimate.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, been moved and seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you.
Will you have some sort of a paperwork to sign to go along with that change or not?
You probably can. Yeah. I don't have anything prepared currently, but
That's
yeah,
fine.
I can get something put together and have Barb get it. So.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Do you guys need anything else from me? We're finally getting the phone line moved into the new office shop area, so we should be completely moved over there this week. And
You'd have thought it took that long to get a phone line moved over. Be good. So,
Thank you.
Thank you.
okay, thank you.
That was our final agenda item, so I'll open it up to,
Before you do that,
Okay.
I'd like to just, moving ahead, we can afford the 50,000 for the line, but where are we gonna come up with money for the building? How are we gonna do about it? That's something either you need to put it on the agenda, or, you know, we need to be working on it. If we're gonna go ahead, we need to be finding funds. So,
Well, we know sales tax is off,
Yeah.
is not an issue at this point. So,
I say put it on the agenda, give us another week or so to.
we'll put that on the agenda for next week, financing discussion. Okay,
Brad
anything
did
else?
say he's on his way, because I think that there were some things that you all maybe wanted to talk to him
Okay.
about, so.
Okay,
But it'll be a little bit yet before he gets here. So.
we can go ahead and open it up to citizen concerns.
I would like to, I wonder about the negotiations for the road maintenance agreement between us and Enel Green. If you guys heard anything, I mean, we haven't had a meeting about that as far as fixing the roads back up or anything. I read in the record that Enel powered the state fair, and they powered it with renewable energy credits. So actually they bought it, which is the renewable energy credits is a subsidy. So actually the taxpayers pay for it. And it gets me that Enel, that's Enel for this promotion and everything, they have enough money to do something like that, but yet they treat this as far as maintaining and fixing the roads back up, as God caused this. It was God's fault that they can't complete their road maintenance agreement, and I just find that ironic.
Well, we're still planning on meeting with officials from Enel.
Wind farms don't run on wind; they run on taxpayer dollars.
Anything else, anyone? Nothing.
Shot it once.
I guess we will, do you know if he was on his way yet? or-
He was.
Maybe we'll go ahead and take a 15-minute recess until county council gets here. .40, so I'm gonna go ahead and call the session back to order. Go back in order. Okay, Brad's with us, so there was some questions of Brad. Maybe he has something for us, so I'll turn it over to you to begin with, Brad.
Really need an executive session on current and pending litigation matters, some strategic issues that you need to be updated on and consider.
How long do we need?
I think 15 minutes should be ample.
I'll move recession to executive session in order to discuss pending litigation negotiations under item number 2, consultation with our attorney-client privilege, KSA 75-4319B with the commission and Brad Jantz.
Just a point of clarification, I think he asked for current and pending litigation.
Oh, current
You just-
and in order to discuss current and pending litigation.
I'll second.
With we didn't say how long, so until 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
And we were assumed back into open session. You make a motion?
Yes, I second. Oh,
No, you made
You
a
make
motion.
If I made the motion, you
I'll
second?
second,
Okay,
yes.
moved and second, all those in favor?
aye.
Okay, out of executive session, no action taken. That last of our agenda, and we've been through citizen concerns, so.
May I ask Brad a couple more questions since he's come in? I did have some questions to ask Brad for things he was working on. So I wanted to ask you where we stand on the MCC EDC.
The responses I received is that we have all they have. I don't know beyond that how far you would like to go, but that's the response.
Wonder why they don't have the rest. Okay. Well, that pretty much tells me where we're gonna stand on it, so I'm gonna do the rest of my calculations and run with it.
Okay.
So, okay, and then I do have, oh, no, Tina's gonna take care of that, I'm sorry. I guess the only other thing is, I just want to remind the commission, we have to get to work on Jesse's job description. We still have 2 people with the same job description, and we need to get that taken care of. So I know we talked about it several times, but we didn't act and get it done.
I know we made revisions to it, but I don't know if it, I don't recall if it was ever approved. I guess it probably wasn't.
I've never seen it.
Okay, okay.
I have what he presented to us, but it was like maybe 3 differences, which is not gonna work. So, still wanna let that drop. Okay, that was my questions, thank you.
The other thing that we might put on the agenda too is I've been asked by some employees about pay plan. We might try figuring out what we're gonna do with that, where we're headed with that. That may be something to put up on, if we have a light session coming up later this month.
I wonder if we should wait on the pay plan until, with all this stuff, I'm just throwing this out, with all this stuff, with the wind farm and everything, can we get the 5 in? I'm almost thinking that would be a good project for the 5. And that's only, what is election day? Is it the first Tuesday or the
Yes.
second?
It's November 5th.
November 5th, okay.
I'm actually have had a cruise planned for 1.5 years. I will get back into town on November 5th.
Well, good.
Everything going the way it's supposed to. I'll be back on November 5th.
Okay, all right, so, yeah, that's around the corner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can
that
hardly
could
wait.
Wait till then, I guess, but we've dropped it, we just talked about it.
Well, we talked about it
We're gonna
several
have to
times.
deal
but-
with it at some point.
Something like that. But the canvas is a week later.
It'll be on the, I believe, the 15th. I'll have to look at the calendar. Yeah, it'd be
In case
after
there's
that.
questions.
Now, the election day is the 5th, but as far as them taking seats, it's after. Canvas.
It'll be after the certification, which is after the canvas.
So.
It won't be in January like normal, but it'll be after the canvas.
Canvas would we win?
If I was elected, I have to resign my council seat prior to sitting down at this table.
That's an automatic. That's an
Yeah.
automatic.
Conceivably, they could be seated at 18th.
Pardon me?
Get fired.
If the canvas was on the 15th, they could be seated on the 18th.
Yes. And we had talked about doing the canvas on the, I believe, on the 15th, which is right after KAC. It's that Friday. So I didn't write it on the calendar, so I need to double check my notes, but I'm pretty sure that was right. So the first meeting for the 5 would be, I believe, the 18th of November.
There you have it.
The conflicting seats, if you accept this seat, it conflicts with your other seat. Your acceptance of this seat is your resignation of that seat.
Anything else, Commissioner?
Still
Because we
wouldn't
both
hurt.
have
Still wouldn't
to deal
hurt.
with that.
Would you
Oh,
do
no. You want to do that? You want to-
Formalize the special meeting right now?
Yes. For Friday at 8:30.
Yeah, I sent him an email for now for 8:30 a.m.
Okay, that'll be a special meeting on Friday, this coming Friday
And that's an open meeting.
At 8:30?
at 8:30.
And this one is for,
And representatives are to be here regarding all the issues.
okay, so this is not for the Diamond Vista private.
Right, and then the hope is to go ahead and immediately follow that with a second agenda item. That would be expedition.
Is it open or closed meeting?
Open.
No executive session?
Well, that I can't tell you. First, the opening part will be open.
We say flag salute.
Yeah, within.
And any decisions that come
Oh,
from the
absolutely,
meeting
yeah.
is open. Okay.
Okay.
So it could
Got
be
that
executive
taken care of.
sessions.
And that's this Friday.
There will be with, if Expedition shows up, it'll probably be executive session.
Because that's a negotiation.
Yes.
That's negotiate, contract negotiations. Okay. That's it. I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Yeah, I'm glad we came back in.